I love it when an anime has a fight scene, but the fight scene is more than just two guys throwing punches. It actually has character, it actually has a story behind it, which this match absolutely had. This is a fight I've been waiting for all week. I knew that this was going to be the fight that would rival the fight between Yuri as well as Joe. Obviously, we know that fight's going to be the biggest and most badass moment. I mean, it's been set up since the very beginning of the series. But this was a match I was very looking forward to because Mikio looks at Joe as a fraud, a fake, someone who doesn't take into consideration the new technology, the new golden age of technology, and I like how this fight went down. Joe was getting his ass handed to him this episode, and there was moments where you're like, what direction are they going to go? You can say, yeah, well, he's got to win, right? He's got to make it to the next level, but they start showing Mikio really in a good spot to win, and I like the direction it went with the story it was telling, because if you lose a fight, if you lose in anything, you should be able to take away something from that loss so you can grow as a person in your next match, which Mikio actually does, and they actually give him progression. Like, he kept calling Joe a fraud, but in actuality, he was the fraud in this match, but leaving that match, I don't think he would necessarily be a fraud anymore, because Joe is a guy, he evolves as he fights. Like, he understands that this is a guy that he's predicting every one of my moves because he upgraded his suit. No longer does it need gear to predict what to do. And I like how Joe eventually just stops. He basically does a bluff, drops his guard, so the AI basically thinks that he's up to something and it won't take the risk, which ultimately shows Mikio that his AI probably made a mistake, because if it was under human control, he could have ended Joe right then and there, and he would have won his ticket into the ring. But I like how Joe understands what he needs to do here, and he tells Pops, like, I'm gonna need you to tell me what he's going to do, and then I'm gonna have one shot, because once he throws any punch, that's it. The AI will know his move, and it'll be able to predict it. But I like how both characters don't rely on any outside forces. It's ultimately both of them reacting by themselves. And I like how Mikio doesn't rely on what the AI wants to do, and he does go for his one punch, but so does Joe, and his body just reacts as a body would, and he gets that one amazing punch and wins himself into the ring. And just seeing the cheers, the guy who used to be looked at as the stray dog, no one had any respect, even in this match, it was nice to see Joe earn his way to the top. It wasn't fake, it wasn't anything but true fighters. It was true fighters fighting in a ring, and it shows that AI can be advanced, AI can be better than humans in a lot of ways, but ultimately, the best fighters in this ring understand that the fighter is what makes the match. It's not the suit. Even Yuri understands that. He understands that, you know, he picked the better suit. It wasn't the suit that makes decisions for him, it's the suit that amplifies his own decisions and makes him a better fighter. Mikio didn't see that until the end. And I like how it shows us that, you know, Joe, he does have a disadvantage, but Joe's the kind of fighter who wants to do what he sees best. He doesn't want to let outside forces influence his decisions. He wants to show that he can be the best of the best. And yes, the suits do make some crazy new mechanics to these fights, but ultimately I love seeing this gearless Joe. Like, even though you might have the best gear, we got the best gearless fighter here, and I love how it was directed. There was so much emotion in this, and there was some pretty nasty punches thrown in this episode. Like, I felt bad for Joe, like his teeth getting knocked out, him getting literally sucker punched over the ring, him having to stand back up and get in there. There was just so many damn good moments, and I can't wait for the soundtrack for this anime to be released. This has to be one of the best soundtracks I've heard in years. It's seriously amazing how they'll pull new tracks throughout the episodes, but then there's so many classic tracks that they keep playing throughout each and every episode. This soundtrack is absolutely stellar. I can't wait to download it. It's going to be amazing to listen to on its own here. It's amazing to listen to in the anime, but to hear those full tracks, it's going to be a masterpiece, guaranteed. But I love how this fight was directed. Like, I love how just everyone was turning on him, and you can understand from their perspective, yeah, he's had a lot of good wins, but the match was so one-sided. And I love how Pop's saying, like, you're right, Joe, it's not the suit that makes a fighter. The fighter is what makes these matches go down, and I love the direction they went. Hell, they even end the episode in a pretty mysterious way. It's looking like Pop's, like, is Pop's gonna get shanked? Like, what's happening there with the whole Kingpin situation going on? I'm really excited to see where episode 10 goes with that. But I do like how it really does feel like we accomplished something, right? Like, yes, we're now finally in the championship, but there was so many struggles that these characters went through, and I love how the writing built up to this and really gave Joe the chance to shine and have everyone cheer his name, and just the moment, because back when Yuri left Joe, he says, I'm not going to fight anyone who's not in my ring. And I love how it mirrors because now Joe is in his ring, and I think Yuri, like, he's pissed off at Joe, but he respects Joe as a fighter. Like, he really does at this point, and I can't wait to see that match. I can't wait to see all the matches. We're gonna have a few more here before the show wraps up. Holy hell, this was a great episode. I love just how damn detailed these fights are. You believe that this is real people fighting. You just actually believe that there's story and character behind the punches, not just two people throwing punches around and there's no meaning behind it and you don't care. Like, even though I might not have really rooted for Mikio in this episode, I love what they did with his character and his self-doubt about his own suit, because he's trying to convince himself, no, just because the suit's making the decision, it is my decision because I built the suit. But ultimately, he realizes that you can't let machines do all your decisions. Humans have the ability to make decisions that can surpass the machine time and time again, and that's ultimately what happened here. But I absolutely love that, because really, if he didn't trust in his suit there and had automatic kind of response off, he would have been able to finish Joe before Joe even got to the next round to land that punch. I love how this episode went. It was amazing. I can't wait to see where episode 10 is going to go. But let me know your thoughts, your favorite moment. What do you think of the insane match? Let me know what you're feeling down in that comment section below. And if you enjoyed the video, remember to leave a like. And if you're new, also be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.